Hi, my name is Henry Anderson. Please pay close attention to what I have to say because time is running out. I was dead for 8 minutes and 32 seconds 6 years ago, when I was 12 years old. During that time, Jesus showed me things that still bother me today. What I saw was not only scary, it was terrifying. I got a message back that people need to hear very badly, even if they don't want to. But first, let me know where you are listening. Even though we're not together, it will be. Nice to feel closer. Don't forget to mark this story as liked and share your thoughts on what you thought about it. Let's talk about this in an honest way so we can all learn from each other. Have fun listening. It took place on February 10th, 2020. I had to swim early, in the morning at 5:32. I felt like I had a second home in the pool. I had been swimming like a pro since I was 5 years old. In the 400-meter solo medley that morning, I was trying to beat my own record. I remember pushing off the wall on my last lap. My muscles were burning and my lungs were screaming for air. Up until it wasn't, everything felt fine. After a while, they told me it was hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a heart disease that had not been diagnosed. I was swimming 1 second and then my heart stopped. My chest felt heavy all of a sudden, but I wasn't in pain. The water around me turned dark, and I could feel myself going down. I thought at the time, this isn't how it ends. It was, though. What did you do next? This is where most people start to doubt my story, but I want you to understand that what I went through was more real than anything I've ever felt in this world. As soon as my heart stopped beating, I was floating above the pool. I could see Coach Thompson pulling my body away and hear him yelling for someone to call 911. Even as they started CPR, I could tell that everyone was scared. But I was relaxed and not affected by anything. It was like watching a movie about someone else's life. After that, everything changed. The pool, the people, and everything else faded away. I felt like I was being pulled through a dark cave. But this darkness wasn't just the lack of light. It had life. It moved, spoke, and reached out with what seemed like a million hands. I didn't understand the whispers because they weren't in English. Their sounds were those of people in pain and despair, of souls who had made bad decisions and are now suffering forever because of them. I screamed, but nothing came out. I tried to push the pool away, but I couldn't. The darkness came in from all sides and made it hard to breathe. Then, just as I was about to give up, everything stopped. There was a lot of light around me, but that word doesn't do it credit. It was alive light, pure energy, and power that our world can't handle. Jesus was standing in the middle of it all. This was Jesus in all his glory, not the mild and gentle Jesus from Sunday school pictures. It was both scary and beautiful to be in his presence. I got on my knees, or at least what they thought of as knees in that spiritual world. I couldn't look at him straight on because his glory was so great, and when he spoke, his voice filled my whole body. He told me, "Henry," and in that one word I felt both perfect love and deep sadness. "Do you understand why you're here?" I was unable to speak. "What do you say to the one who made everything?" He didn't wait for my answer, though. As soon as he raised his hand, my whole life flashed back in front of me. I saw the results of every choice I had ever made, not just the events. I learned new things about how my acts affect other people. When I laughed at a student being picked on, I saw how that made him feel bad about himself and made him question his worth. People who needed help but couldn't get it because I was too busy with my own life were in pain and feeling alone. Things weren't just bad, though. I also saw the good. Times when I was kind to someone without realizing it, and when a small act of kindness made their whole day. It didn't matter what. Every decision, word, and action had effects that would last forever, not just in this world. After that, Jesus showed me something that still scares me at night. He made hell for me, not the one that looks like a picture with the red devils and pitchforks. This was a lot worse. If you're completely cut off from God, this is the place where hope doesn't exist, where darkness has substance and weight, and where pain goes deep into your soul. Some of the people I saw were Christians, but they had never really given their hearts to Jesus. They were people I knew from church. I will always remember their screams. Even though they begged for another chance, it was too late. What was the scariest part? All of them said the same thing. I thought I had time, but Jesus wasn't through telling me the truth. He raised his hand again, and all of a sudden we were in front of the book of life, which was so big it was hard to understand. It wasn't just a book. It was alive and full of divine power. It looked like the pages were made of live light, and the names that were written on them were like fire. Jesus told us to watch, and as the leaves turned, I saw something that made my heart hurt. Names were getting fainter and fainter right in front of my eyes. Some went away slowly, like ink that is washed away by water. Some flashed like dying fires before going out. Jesus said, "These are the people who used to know me. They said they were mine, but their hearts stopped beating. Their names became less clear with each sin they committed, and each time they ignored my words. They will be gone for good soon." People from my school, neighborhood, and even churches were there, and I knew their names. There were people who thought they were saved because they prayed once, got dunked, or went to church every Sunday, but their names were being erased second by second. I cried out, "Lord, they believe in you." They pray and go to church. A lot of people will call me Lord, Lord that day, but I'll tell them I never knew you. They spoke well of me, but their hearts were not with me. Then he showed me something, even scarier, the world as it is now, but as seen through spiritual eyes. Demons were easily moving through crowds of people telling them lies. You still have time. God is love, so he wouldn't send anyone to hell. That's enough. You're a good person. And people believed these lies, so they thought they were okay while walking straight toward disaster. I saw churches full of people who raised their hands but didn't have their hearts close to God. I heard preachers preach weak sermons that made people feel good, but never spoke out against sin or asked people to truly turn away from it. It seemed like Christians were living like everyone else, thinking that their sin was okay because they had prayed years ago. He then showed me what was going to happen. The visions were so clear and real that it's hard for me to explain them now. I saw a dark line moving across the land like a live shadow. I saw people pick evil over good and call good evil and evil good. When I saw that following Jesus meant real sacrifice, I knew that true Christians would be persecuted. I also knew that many would give up. An enormous angel showed up, giving off a sense of power and authority. We could feel the ground shaking as he spoke. "The harvest is ready, but many will be lost because they waited too long," he said. I saw waves of destruction, not just natural tragedies, but also spiritual darkness that covered whole countries. I saw how little time is left and how close we are to the end. But seeing how blind people are to what's coming scared me the most. They're too busy with their phones, social media, entertainment, and politics to notice that time is running out. After that, Jesus showed me something that still scares me. It's too late to choose him now that the door has closed, he showed me. I saw people suddenly understand the truth and beg for more time and kindness. The door was shut, though. It was too late for them. He said, "This is why I brought you here. That's why you need to return. They need to be told. They don't have much time left." That's when I saw them. Devils. They stood in a huge circle around us, just outside of the light that was around Jesus. Their eyes were a terrible red color, and their bodies moved like smoke. They weren't silly imps from a cartoon. They were very old, strong beings that were filled with hate. They saw me and watched me. Jesus told us to remember their faces because they watch everyone watching and whisper lies that destroy souls. These spirits get stronger over people who choose sin over me every time. The sound of the devils laughing chilled me to the core. They made fun of you for thinking that telling them will make a difference. They're not going to listen. They love sin too much. Like always, they'll pick us. But Jesus wasn't done yet. There are no words that can fully describe what I saw in heaven. There was more color than anything on earth, and the music was better than anything anyone could have written. There was happiness, peace, and love. It was too much to handle. But seeing who was there and who wasn't hit me the most. People I never thought I'd see were there. They had been broken and humble on earth, but they had given their lives to Jesus. And I saw empty spots where religious leaders should have been. Those spots were meant for people who thought going to church and doing good things would save them. Christ said that the gate is small and few people find it. It's not that I don't want them, it's that they don't really want me. They want to be able to control God and not have to give up anything to be saved. Christ then showed me my heart. I saw how religiously proud I was, how good I thought I was, and how careless I was about sin. I realized that I had made a God that was like me, one that didn't need real repentance and would let me live however I pleased. I told you today that you would die so you could see the truth and warn other people. Henry, time is running out. Their enemy has told them they have a lot of time to come to me, but they don't. The door shuts behind me. I could feel tears running down my face, or whatever those tears were in that heavenly world. I begged the Lord, how can I help them understand? They're not going to believe me. He agreed that some would not, but some would. Tell them what you saw. Tell them it's not enough for them to believe in me. Even the monsters believe in me. Tell them it's not enough to just go to church. Tell them it's not enough to be good. Before it's too late, they need to give me everything. I felt like something was pulling on me right then. It started to get darker around me. Hold on. I let out a cry. I need to ask a lot of questions. He said again, tell them what you've seen. Tell them that time is running out. The next thing I knew, I was on the pool deck gasping for air while rescuers worked quickly to help me. My body had been still for 96 seconds. It was seen as a miracle by the doctors. They couldn't figure out why my heart started beating again, or why the lack of air for so long hadn't hurt my brain. It was hard for the body to heal. 3 days in the ICU and tests and checks for weeks. But the mental battle that started as soon as I got back was much worse than the physical ones. I saw for myself that the enemy doesn't want this word to get out. The first night I got home from the hospital, the attacks began. At 3 a.m., I woke up. It was so cold in the room that I could see my breath. In the corner, there was a shade that was darker than the rest of the room. I could hear the same mocking laughter in my room that I had heard in the spirit world. The voice hissed, "They won't believe you. Don't talk." Why would anyone listen to a kid? But that was only the start. The devils I saw with Jesus didn't forget about me. They came every night. They would sometimes just stand there and watch, their red eyes shining in the dark. Sometimes they showed me pictures of hell to scare me into silence by reminding me of what I'd seen. They raised doubts in my mind. It could have been a dream. You might have made it all up. You might be crazy. But I was sure what I saw was real. I knew why they were trying so hard to shut me up even more. That lesson Jesus gave me isn't just another story. The world is running out of time, so this is the last warning. It won't help anyone if I take the time to explain what Jesus showed me. The world is about to go through something very scary. It's not coming. The darkness is already here. Demons like the ones I saw are now moving through our world, telling lies that will destroy people. They're mentally blind, so most people can't see them. He showed me that the world has 3 kinds of people right now. There are first those who are openly against God. They're not the ones that worry me the most, since they're at least being honest about where they stand. Second, some people think they're saved but aren't. These people really hurt Jesus' heart. People who say they believe and think they're Christians because they did good things, prayed a prayer, or went to church, but they haven't really given their lives to Jesus yet. They want the perks of being saved without having to follow Jesus. They have no idea that their names are being erased from the book of life. Third, there are true followers, or people who have really given their lives to Jesus. But many of these are still sleeping because they are too busy with other things to notice how little time is left. Things look different to me now that I'm back. The more people I see, the more I remember what Jesus showed me. How many of them are being tricked? How many of them think they're saved but aren't? And how many of them are walking straight toward hell while thinking they're on the right road? Watching how people react when I tell them what I've seen has been the hardest part. Some make fun of me. Some people say I'm too young to understand holy things. Some people say, "That's nice, but our God isn't like that." They have no idea that what they're doing is exactly what Jesus showed me. If the truth is uncomfortable, people would rather accept a lie that makes them feel better. I feel the most pain for those who listen and know I'm saying the truth, but still choose to wait. They say things like, "I believe in Jesus," or "I'll lie," get serious about God when I'm older. Isn't that enough? It's not clear to them that tomorrow is not a given. I didn't think I would die at 15. The souls I saw in hell didn't think they would die when they did. There is still spiritual battle going on. To the contrary, it's become stronger. The enemy does everything they can to stop this message from getting through. Sometimes it's through direct strikes, like the nights when demons show up in my room. People, even Christians, tell me I'm being too harsh, too fundamentalist, or too scary times. But I'm scared for people because I know what's going to happen. I've seen what happens when Christians get too relaxed. How can I water down this message? How can I keep quiet when Jesus told me to go back and tell others? I told you this because Jesus told me to. Not only is time running out for the world, but also for people. Your name is written less and less in the book of life every time you choose sin over him, stop listening to him, or put off giving your whole life to him. And one day, today or tomorrow, it will be too late. People are going to hell because of the easygoing, casual Christianity that is so popular right now. Someone told me that they were shocked to see people in pain because they thought that going to church and being a good person was enough. They thought it was enough to believe in God. They thought they'd have time later to really follow their faith. The monsters I saw are real, and they're working extra hard right now because they know time is running out. You listen to their lies every time you defend sin, pick the world over Jesus, or say, "I'll get right with God tomorrow." The evil that's coming to our world, it's already here, not just coming. Jesus showed me how the spiritual world and the real world are connected. There is a fight going on for your soul right now as you read this. The enemy is doing everything they can to keep you from focusing on the task at hand, to make you think you have time, and to make you think that a half commitment is enough. I've gotten thousands of texts since I shared my story. Some people make fun of me and attack me, but others have heard the truth in what I say. They know how important it is. They have turned to Jesus with all of their hearts, not just what they say, but there are hundreds of people who don't listen for everyone who does. They say things like, "God is love. He wouldn't send anyone to hell. I'm a good person in general," or "I believe in Jesus in my own way." The enemy wants people to believe these lies. I read in the book of life that faith isn't enough. Even devils believe in God. What counts is giving up everything and giving it all to Jesus. I pray every night before bed for people who are still walking in the dark, who think they're saved but aren't, and who are putting off making the choice to follow Jesus fully. Because I know what will happen if they don't turn around. I saw it. It hit me, and I wouldn't want anyone to go through that. It has nothing to do with religion. Going to church or following rules are not important. It's about a connection with Jesus that is real, personal, and all-consuming. Nothing else will matter when the end comes, which it will. Not your money, not your fame, and not your accomplishments. It will only matter if you really knew Jesus and if he really knew you. The mental attacks are still going on. When I woke up last night, my room was full of evil spirits. It smelled bad, and I could hear them whispering, "They won't believe you. Don't waste your time. Give up. I'm not going to. I can't. Because Jesus didn't bring me back to a normal life. I was brought back to tell other people before it's too late. This is what I want you to know. God loves you. He loves you so much that he sent me back to life to warn you. He won't make you pick him, though. You have to make that choice, and it has to be whole. Christianity that is only half-hearted isn't Christianity at all. Not committing at all is not really committing at all. Now is not the time to play games with God. Now is not the time for easy Christianity. No longer do people think they can live with one foot in heaven and one foot in the world. He taught me that kind of faith will not save you. I passed away. I saw heaven. I saw hell. I saw Christ. I was sent back with this message. There is not much time left. The door shuts behind me. Do not wait until it's too late. This story isn't just mine. It's meant to wake you up. You decide what to do with it. But don't forget that I died to bring you this word. Are you going to listen before it's too late?